Feminism is not about achieving equality for women. Never mind the fact that that's how feminists on college campuses try and recruit young, vulnerable women. It's just about equality. Never mind that's how the dictionary now defines feminism. Just look at how the dictionary defines marriage. It's no longer about literacy, it's no longer about what's right, it's just about furthering a political ideology. And why would feminism be about equality? The West does have equality. It's the only place that has equality for women. You know, the places that don't have equality for women are those places that feminists don't want to talk about, those places in the world. In a very real sense, we have more than equality for women. We have female privilege. Just look at alimony. I've never heard a feminist argue against alimony. But the entire argument is that women can't take care of themselves, that they need some help, that they can't get a job, can't support themselves. That's the whole point behind alimony. Feminists don't say a word. Look at child custody arrangements. In child custody battles, women have a major advantage, and I've always thought it was sad. In a lot of cases, a father would do a better job with his child than a single mother would. Feminists? Nothing. The criminal justice system, just look at that. Women are less likely to be charged, and then, even if they are charged, they'll get lower sentences, smaller sentences. Do you hear feminists screaming about it? Screaming for equality? No. Not a word. I mean, and you know, it goes back to, this has been this way for a long time. It goes back to chivalry, right? I mean, this is the patriarchy right here. Feminists like the patriarchy. They love the patriarchy, just only certain parts of it. They just want the preferential treatment. And that's it. But they don't want equality. You know, they certainly don't want the draft. And what annoys me is this Women's History Month. Like, stuff like this. Like, women are supposed to hinge their entire self-worth on the fact that they're women. And you see this in the black community too, right? This whole class warfare. That, you know, everybody I guess, men and women, have things, loyalties, like to their family, and to their communities, and to their ideology, and to their faith. And what feminists want women to do, is throw those all away. Don't care about any of those things. Don't care about your faith and what you believe and what would be best for your family. Nope, throw it out. Define yourself by the fact that you're a woman and you've been oppressed. Right? Same thing for the black community. But I mean, that's it. Define yourself by oppression. Define yourself by victimhood. Define yourself by what somebody else didn't have. Right? And in this Women's History Month case, they try and talk about things like engineering. And everybody knows that women are not the best at inventing things. I mean, look around your house, okay? Look at the things that make your life better. That make you feel like you're in the 20th and 21st century. Those things, right? How many of those things, realistically speaking, were invented by women? Right? I mean, exactly. 99%, maybe 100, are made by men. And who cares? I mean, if we're not anti-men, if we're just about equality, then who cares if it was a man or a woman? We still have the stuff. I mean, would any woman want to live without the things that men have made? And then you Google the inventors, and you see these lists of different black and female inventors. I mean, really. It's like, knowledge itself is sexist. You know? Yeah. And one thing that has bothered me for at least my entire adult life has been a gradual adulteration of the language. So where, if we're talking about, let's say like a written work, for instance, an instance in which the gender of a person is unknown, we've historically always referred to that person as a he or a him, depending on context. Right? We've assumed a masculine gender. And it's been that way, I don't know, at least since Latin. Now we're supposed to switch it to a plural. That's so grammatically incorrect. there's I'll give you a sentence because you may not be following me. The person took vitamin C and he became healthier. The politically correct way is to say, the person took vitamin C and they became healthier. Who's the they? A person is they? To be politically correct is to be grammatically incorrect. It's just, it grinds me. This idea too, that I'm supposed to be offended by that? That I'm so fragile? I mean, that's sexism. The fact that you think that I can't handle it? I mean, really? And like I said, this has been this way for just about forever. You know, for as long as we've been civilized, you could say. And nobody's cared. Nobody's felt offended or victimized. But now we have to be wrong to be right. And then you look over at the Girl Scouts. See, we've got this... Sorry, the Boy Scouts that have girls. See, we've got this kind of anti-male narrative that's kind of flowing through here. That men are not okay anymore. Now, the Boy Scouts, now that they're accepting girls, you're going to have like a shifting standard to try and encompass these girls. You're going to have behaviour treated differently, because boys, they do behave differently, they are different. That was kind of the point of the Boy Scouts. A bunch of boys together, being led by a man. And they're being emasculated. Now, about 10 years ago or so, I had a younger brother who joined the Cub Scouts, and he was excited about doing things like tying knots and whittling and fire starting and all that stuff that supposedly goes on in the Boy Scouts. Instead, they did cake decorating. This was before the girls were even in it, but you had the female leaders. Cake decorating? He was kind of like disappointed and shocked. And then they had, I think, painting tiles, I think, was one of their activities. I couldn't even make it up. They were literally cake decorating at the Boy Scouts. For boys. But boys aren't allowed to be boys anymore. That's not okay. It's like men can't be men because it's toxic. Boys can't be boys. And, I mean, just look at, when a boy enters school, they have the same problem. You can't make this symbol like a gun and pretend that it's a gun. You certainly can't bring a toy gun into school. That would be just horrific. You can't play cops and robbers. Certainly not cowboys and Indians. My gosh. Can't say Indian. You know, you can't play war. None of these things. Because it's not okay to be a boy. That's the lesson that they're teaching. That a boy is only okay if he acts like a girl. If he has the same interests as a girl. And boys don't have the same interests as girls. They're not girls. And that's okay. I don't know why we can't accept that this is okay, that men and women are different. How would it have been awesome for Hillary Clinton to have been president if men and women are interchangeable like they are now in the transgender world? Just the leftist narrative makes no sense. It's just insane. And when boys don't act like girls, then we drug them. That's how the whole riddling thing got started. That boys have to behave exactly like girls. They have to have the same interests and be calm and sit still and not be rambunctious. And when they get older, you know, women are more attracted to men who act like men. Men who look like men. I mean, if you line two men up, you know, one guy who's, you know, like I don't want to say gym rat, but, you know, who's more muscular and manly, next to, you know, the guy in skinny jeans with the V-neck t-shirt, I know which one's more attractive. And I've never met a woman who said, I go for the skinny jeans guy. Never. It's just not attractive. Women are attracted to men, not men who look like women. I mean, it doesn't even need to be explained. Part of it is the influence of soy. The term soy boy is going around. I've been involved in health for over 10 years, in which we've written about soy and its effects on hormones. But soy does emasculate men. It contains something called phytoestrogens, which, you know, affect, well, they act like estrogen inside the body. So it's like the man really is more female. You can read about it at our site, Healthwise, if you really want to get the details. I'm not going to cover it here. But the point here is that feminism is not this pro-woman, pro-equality movement, really. It's just this anti-man, anti-masculinity, anti-boy. And it's pretty dyspraxic. Okay. Well, if you like this video, please like it and subscribe. We'll be doing these very often. And if you share this with your friends, that would be awesome too. Thank you.
Health-wise.